You can have all these drives, or you can have this one. These are all mid-range drives that you can use for different purposes, or you can use the one on the right that has higher capacity and higher speed. Which one would you prefer? One drive to rule them all. One drive for all your ISOs or images. Ah, it's a movie reference. If you know, you know. What makes Ventoy so great? Now, for all newbies and pros, Ventoy is an open source tool that simplifies the process of creating bootable USB drives. Yes, you can have a ton of ISOs or images on a single USB, which means you can boot to 10, 20, or more bootable environments from one drive. Of course, it all depends on the capacity of your USB. For example, mine is 256 gigabytes and it is 3.2 standard. Why would you want a USB with a ton of images? Well, for one, it simplifies storage and you don't have to carry a ton of drives. You can store multiple ISOs. You can also store other data, files, portable app, etc. Truly an all-in-one solution. You dictate the purpose of the drive. Now, today we will be making a Bento USB drive, but before we begin, these are my recommendations. Get yourself a higher capacity drive. Don't get a 16 gigabyte drive, as this will limit your usability. You have the option of using a external drive or a SSD. For this video, we will use a regular USB, and it's a lot more portable. But my USB is 3.2 and 256 gigabytes, which is plenty for me. Get yourself a higher capacity drive in a 3.0 standard or higher USB. I promise you, you don't want to deal with a slow drive. Now, this is what I normally carry on my IT repair jobs. I have a ton of USBs that I use with different images for different repair jobs. Now, with Ventoy, you can have all of these in one USB. It is your choice if you want to carry something like this or something like this, which is more portable. But to be honest, to each their own, we all have different needs and different wants. Now, let's go through the process of installation. Okay, and we are in our computer. Now, to explain further what an image is, if you don't know, it's basically a collection of things, like a picture of a drive. For example, a Windows 11 image would be the collection of windows, the settings, tools, applications, everything that it requires for Windows to run properly, just to clarify. Okay, now in our computer, we're going to grab our USB and we're going to put it inside the computer and you'll see it come up in the system. Okay, so we have it right there. For me, it's going to be E. Make sure you check which one is yours. And we're going to get started with Ventoy. So we're going to go to our web browser. We're going to go to google.com. I'm going to go to Ventoy. And you can see Ventoy here. Ventoy. We're going to click it. We're going to go to downloads. And down here, you're going to see the different versions. So I want to do, let's see. Okay, I want to do Windows zip. You see Linux, you see other stuff, right? So I'm going to do Windows zip file. And we have different versions here. And I want to do Windows zip. And it should start automatically. Now we can close out of this one. Okay, minimize. Go to your folder and go to downloads. You're gonna basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a folder. I'm gonna call it Ventoy, or you can put it into whatever folder you prefer, or you can extract it there on downloads. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extract it here where I just put it, and we're gonna see here Ventoy. And once we click on it, we see this Ventoy to disk executable, right? We're gonna double click. We're gonna say yes. Check, make sure our drive is the correct one. Mine is E. And it says Ventoy in package, and then we're gonna install it there. We install. Yes, all the data is gonna be erased and formatted. Double checking, and it's gonna start the process. It's pretty easy. Ventoy has been successfully installed on the device. Okay. And I'll show you something later. We can close out of that. And now we go to this PC. Look at that, Ventoy. So that's it. We have made Ventoy. Now, let's say you want to have different OSs, right? You grab whatever OSs you want, you put them in there. Now, how do I get OSs? Well, for example, a pretty popular one that you're going to need, depending on your system or if you do repairs for people, you will need, let's say, Windows 11, Windows 10, and you go here. There's the Windows 11 installation assistant, but if you go down here, you see before you begin, we want to do download Windows 11 disk image. So I'm going to do 11. I'm going to do confirm. Okay, I want to select English United States, confirm. And we have download Windows 11 English 64-bit download. And you'll see here it's downloading the image. This is how we acquire images. We go to Windows 11, create installation media. We go to downloads. Um, you can go here, also download it from the installation assistant, and you can put ISO and it'll download the actual image. A pretty popular one also is Hiren's. And you'll see here, Hiren's Boot CD. This is the website we want. And we can go to download, and you'll see here it has all these tools. It tells you what it is. If you don't know what Hiren's is, it's a repair tool for Windows computers, and it has all the tools you can imagine for repairing. Exit out of the ad, and look at that. You're gonna have another download soon popping up, and you'll have Windows 11 on downloads and Hiren's Boot CD. Let's say you want Ubuntu, and the nice thing about Ubuntu is that you can try it out without installing it if you just want to play with Ubuntu, right? So you can go to Ubuntu, you can go to products, Ubuntu desktop. You can download Ubuntu desktop with long-term support, download 5.9 gigabytes. And all of a sudden, you'll have another download coming up in a second. And look at that. You have 3 different images there. Now, they fully download, and then you have it on downloads, and you can use them however you want. And as you can see here, I already have mine fully downloaded, right? So if we want to install it to Ventoy, I can just grab it like this and move it over. It'll take a while because it's like 24 gigabytes. But remember, we spoke about having a fast USB. This is a fast USB, and you can see here it's downloading. It's it's transferring this information at 280 megabytes per second. If you get a slow USB, kind of something like this, a 2.0 standard, like I'm showing you, well, of course, you got to read the package and make sure that it is 3.0 or higher, and you'll see these speeds, and you won't have to wait for a long time compared if you have a slow USB. So definitely get yourself a fast USB. You'll spend a little bit more money, but they're not too expensive. And you know what? You'll be happy that you did, because you'll transfer all your information quickly, nicely. So we exit out of here. Exit out of here. Okay, so now we can see here the new space is using. But something else I want to tell you is, let's say you want to save other files. You don't have to just download ISOs. You can have here, let's say, documents, and you can save a lot of documents, pictures, whatever you want to save here. You just create a folder, and you preferably create a folder and then put it on a folder. That way it doesn't confuse the system, because it's going to try to boot to the images that it has right here. and you save everything here, pictures, whatever, and it'll be great because you'll be able to not only use it for ISOs, but also be able to use it for information and having your data, maybe portable apps, maybe a tool, utility, whatever you want to use it for. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a trick. Before we boot into the Ventoy drive, I'm going to show you something. I have here another Ventoy that I haven't updated in a while. You want to update Ventoy, you can do it. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to eject the one that we created. Let's see, show more properties. Okay, so I guess I forgot this, but it doesn't show the eject. So not a big deal. Just pull it out. Now, I'm going to grab my Ventoy that I haven't updated in a while. This is the one I normally use. And I did it a while ago. Okay, I just connected it. And you'll see in a second. Okay, so this is my Ventoy. I just connected it. And let's say I want to update it, right? We go to Ventoy here, here, here. And then we go to Ventoy to disk. Yes. And then we see the drive that I just inserted, right? Ventoy in package 1.1.05, Ventoy in device. Okay, so I guess mine is already updated, so I don't have to worry about that. If you want to update it, you can just click here, update, and it'll update your Ventoy drive. So if you have an older revision here, you'll be able to see it and you'll be able to update it. So now we exit out of here and you can see it shows two different things, right? Because this is for other related Ventoy stuff, like the booting partition and other stuff, so that it works correctly. Now, if there's two, I know which one. This one only has 31.7, so we know it's like a booting partition. So if you see this one that has the most capacity, that means that this is where all of your stuff is going to be. You see all these images? And you can see different images because I've loaded different stuff into this one compared to the one we did. And I even have some tools and stuff, right? And just remember, if you see this, don't get confused because you know which one is the one where you have to put the images, right? So let's go ahead and try out our Ventoy USB drive that we just made so you can see how to boot into it. Okay, now we're going to be turning on, first of all, we want to have our USB that we just created. This is the one that we just created, not the other one that I have. We're going to put it into the computer. Make sure you turn on your computer and go to your BIOS. Okay, so we are in our BIOS, and for me, it's gonna be a startup, right? I go to primary boot, and then I have my USB right here, and we want to put it on top, right? So I'm just gonna do plus all the way up, and that's how I want it. I'm gonna do F10 and then yes, and then the system is gonna go into the USB. Okay, another thing you can do is my computer allows me to check with F12 the booting device, right? And I have here, we have here, and I'll do UEFI. You can see here you have the different types of images that we created, right? We have Windows 10, Windows 11. And the nice thing about a USB like this, I'm going to explain why it's important. Let's say you don't have a ton of USBs, but you have this one. You're going to have all the other tools condensed into one USB. And let's say you go and you have a client that has a Windows 10 and okay, so I already prepared myself and I already loaded Windows 10 into there. So you can go into Windows 10, boot into normal mode, and you're going to be able to do a couple of things here, which you're going to be able to go into Windows recovery. You're going to be able to install Windows 10 on a system, fully install it, and then be done with it. Okay, so you can see here, right? Look at that. You're able to install Windows 10, or you can go to repair computer You could go troubleshoot, go into the command prompt, uninstall updates, startup repairs if you're having startup repairs. So you don't need one USB anymore. You just have one separate USB. You're gonna have one USB with all the tools you can imagine. So now, let's go into another bootable environment. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just gonna forcefully press on the power button for a few seconds. Probably more than that. Okay, now it's off. Now, I'm gonna turn it on again, and I'm gonna let it boot to the USB because we already set it up on BIOS. Now I'm not gonna do F12 so you can see we set it up on BIOS, put it on top. This is how you normally know that the top is the priority. Okay, now let's say you have the images to load systems, but I have a recovery environment or a repair bootable image. We can go to Hirens, and this is the one, Hirens boot CD. We're gonna go into normal mode, and just to let you guys know, some computers maybe it should work with secure boot, but some computers you might have to turn secure boot off. You can leave it on and then test it, and if not, turn it off. It should be compatible with secure boot. As you guys saw, it had a check mark on options, but just throwing that out there if you're having any issues. Okay, now we have booted into Hiren's boot CD. Basically, this is has a lot of utilities. It's Hiren's, let me clarify. Hiren's is a tool, but within Hiren's, there's a ton of other tools. So I know it can be confusing. Look at that accessibility. We have hard disk tools. We have a lot of stuff, but we're not covering Hiren's, so I'm not going to go over it too much. So you can see we can boot into it using Ventoy. Amazing. This is truly nice because we have all these options now with one USB. You don't have to carry your whole kit anymore. And now we're going to go into another. We're going to go into Ubuntu. Turn on. And the nice thing is you guys see, you don't see your folder for your personal files, right? Now let's go to Ubuntu and boot in normal mode. And it asks you this. Of course, we're gonna go to try or install Ubuntu. If you want to install it, you can install it on a system, but you have also the versatility to be able to try it and play with Ubuntu, check if you like it, surf the web. I don't know, whatever you want to do with the specific system. I mean, Ubuntu is a great Linux distribution. And if you want to use that for occasional work, I still use my Windows. Sometimes I use Linux. Okay, and look at that. We have Ubuntu Linux on our system. We're able to use it. And we can see here, this little thing, the installer. The display is, as you can see, it looks tiny, but it's not a big problem. Okay, and right here we have basically the installer for Ubuntu if we want to go through the process. And if you just want to try it out, just exit out of here and start playing with all the tools, whatever you want to use, something or not. If you want to surf the web, but we're not going to do that because we know what we're doing. We're just checking Ventoy. I'm going to power off. And power off again. Now, how did you like Ventoy? The nice thing is, you can update it, you can install it, and you know how to attach all the images there. You know where to put them, where you see all the other images, you put them in there. As you saw, mine looked a little different, but you know not to mess with a different partition. Just know that Ventoy is going to allow you to have your personal files, pictures, portable applications. It's going to allow you to carry a ton of different images for installing, for trying out different operating systems. Just know the versatility that you have with Ventoy is immense. You dictate whatever you want to have whatever you want to use that USB for, you dictate that. So if you have questions regarding Ventoy, I mean, as you saw, it was pretty easy, straightforward. It was quick, and whatever images you want to acquire, I have a ton of different images that I use, and I've downloaded new ones, but I still have to do some extra work in putting in more stuff into my USB. I just have it downloaded, but if you wanna, I don't know, ask anything about the USB, or you're having issues with something, feel free to send me a message right away, and I'll be happy to assist you in whatever I can. Ventoy is great. I love it, and I know you'll love it too. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and definitely, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I'll be happy to help you and make more videos to help our community grow, become stronger, and become more technically inclined in the next future. So all of you, have a nice day. It was nice seeing you again. Take care.